All right. We're looking at, excuse me, 5-2. 5-2 is a bank reconciliation. A bank reconciliation truly is the paperwork to make sure what you say you have in the account matches what the bank says that they have. Remember my example yesterday for my sister-in-law who had a charge to Match.com? The only way they found it out is by going through and doing a bank reconciliation. You can't just say, oh, the bank says I have this much money, and that's what it is. There are a couple terms that we have to take a look at that show up on a bank statement. Okay? And those terms are right here. Outstanding deposits and outstanding checks. Now, when you hear the word outstanding, you're like, wow, that means it's really great and doing a fantastic job. That's not necessarily how it relates back to accounting land. Okay? So, here is how you can remember what an outstanding check and deposit is. So let's say today, I go to the bank this morning on the way to school. I went to the bank and I deposited a $100 check. So that went into my bank account. After school, I got home, go to the mailbox, and I open up my bank statement. So they printed it out and they mailed it to me. Is that $100 going to be on that printout? That deposit that I made this morning? No. Would you agree? Because the bank printed it a couple days ago and then they put it in an envelope and they mailed it and then I received it. So that deposit would be considered outstanding. It's a deposit that I have made, but it hasn't shown up on my bank statement yet. Now the same thing can be true for an outstanding check. So for my outstanding check, I owed Destiny $25, so I'm going to write Destiny a check. I give it to her today. When I get home today, is that $25 check going to be on my bank statement? Not at all. So it's checks that I have written that have not yet cleared the bank account. So what you have to do for your checks and your deposits, you have to go through where you have all of your work done on your check stubs and look and mark off all of the checks and deposits that have cleared. Meaning, I wrote it and it's also on the bank statement. So literally you go through and put tiny little check marks next to all of them. Anything that doesn't have a check mark next to it would be considered outstanding. You have made it, but it's not actually on your bank statement. When we look at a bank statement, bank reconciliation statement, you're going to see it's going to tell you how to do the math. So it tells you right here, balance on the check stub number, and then right here it says deduct. So when you see the word deduct, are we adding or subtracting? Subtracting. So I'm going to take that number and I'm going to subtract that one and I'm going to get a total. That's pretty easy math. Would you agree? Now we move to the other side. We start on the very top and it has a balance on bank statement and then it said add outstanding deposits. I get a subtotal. Deduct outstanding checks. I get a subtotal and then I have an adjusted bank balance. The whole point at the end, one of the things we know in accounting is we always have a way of checking. If this number right here equals this number right here, we do our happy accounting dance and we are in balance. If it doesn't equal, you know there's a mistake, and if you can't find it, please ask me. I will come help you find where your mistake is. It doesn't do you any good to know, yep, I got it wrong, and just skip over it and be like, whatever. If you were doing your own bank reconciliation and you said that you should have $9,000 in your bank account and the bank side over here says $5,000, would you find the difference? That's a lot of money, right? So that's the whole point of the bank statement, is to make sure that there's an agreement on there. Maybe there was a charge on your account that should not have been. So we just have to go through and follow the instructions that they give us. So when we look at what is stated, I just want to look at how the directions are laid out in 5.2 before we start working. It does tell us that the forms are given you below. I'm going to guide you through the following example. It says, on July 29th of the current year, Deep Clean received a bank statement dated July 28th. The following information is obtained from the bank statement and the records of the business. Now, here's the thing. The bank statement is dated the 28th. What date are we going to be doing the reconciliation? On the 29th. A lot of students choose the wrong date, and then they will get a point off because that is going to be incorrect. So the bank says, hey, we printed it on the 28th, but you're going to receive it and you're going to actually complete it on the 29th. It is always best to do your bank reconciliation like the day you receive it or the next day, because the longer you put it off, the more outstanding checks and deposits you may have, and it just causes a lot more work to do. So we can see they give us information. They give us a bank statement balance, a service charge, outstanding deposit, outstanding checks, and it gives us a checkbook balance. So what they did is they kind of gathered all the information and they told you, hey, here's what it is. There is going to be an assignment on here that you have to go through and determine what your outstanding checks and deposits are, and that will require you to do a little bit more work because it's just not going to say this is your outstanding check and this is your outstanding deposit. So instruction number 1 tells us to do the bank reconciliation using July 29th of the current year. Then it tells us to record the service charge on the check number, and then we have to journalize it. And I'll walk you through all of those steps. So let's go ahead and start this bank reconciliation. So the first thing we need to do is get our date in the upper right-hand corner, and that's going to be July 29th. Now, when I complete a bank statement, I'm going to do one side and then do the next side. So I'm going to start on the side that says balance on check stub number. So when I look at my directions, it does tell me right here, checkbook balance on check stub number 106 is $1,575. So I have to put my check stub number right here of 106. Then I'm going to put the amount in of $1,575. And if I just hit enter, it'll put in the .00. I don't have to type in .00. Now, I'm going to work down this side and just stay on this side. So right here it says bank charges. So I need to look on my directions and find if there are any charges. Cole, did you find any charges on our directions? Say it again. Like just in here where the numbers are, so anywhere in here, we want to look to see if there's any charges. Okay, a bank service charge. Do you see that right here for $2? Now, what is that? Banks will have an agreement when you open up an account with them saying, hey, you can have an account with us, but we're going to charge you $2, $5, or maybe 10 cents every check you write. Or if your balance go below this number, we're going to charge you $5. And that's going to vary depending on every bank and different checking accounts. So you should always know that when you open up an account, what it is. And this one, we have a $2 service charge. So that means because we have an account with them, every month they're taking out $2 just to cover some of the administrative costs that go along with it. So here's the thing. The bank, I don't have to write a check to the bank for this. Would you agree? The bank is just going to go, there's the account. We signed an agreement that when you have an account with us, you're going to pay this for a fee. It just takes the $2 out. So what I have to do is I have to adjust what's my bank statement balance or my check stub balance by my service charge. So I'm going to put in the description the word service charge, and then it's going to be $2. You may have multiple charges. So for example, you may have credit card charges that would be associated with it. So you might have to list several of them here. So there's only one. So this is going to be where I put my total bank charges, which is $2. Now you have to do the math. You have $1,575 balance on check stub. You need to deduct $2. So now you should have $1,573. I hope I did the math right this morning. It is Friday and all, but did I do okay on that one? Yeah. Good. Okay. Now we're going to go to the right side. Right side, starting in the top, it says balance on bank statement. So I go to my directions, and I have to look through here until I find the bank statement balance. Nick, did you find the bank statement balance? How much is it? 1528. Let's get that on the top. Now we're to this section here that says add outstanding deposits. Sarah, did you find any outstanding deposits?
July 28th.
For how much?
$150.
So when we put our deposits on here, we have to start with the date, and I believe it's going to be 7-28, so you don't write it out in words, you're going to use numbers. And then the amount, like Sarah said, is going to be $150. Do we have any other outstanding deposits, Sarah?
No.
Okay, so we only have one outstanding deposit. So right here it says total outstanding deposits. So I'm just going to, would add up what I have there, and it's 150. So Dylan, what am I going to do with that $150? Add it to what? Yes, because how do you know you need to add it? Mm-hmm. And I like to be like, oh, it really says add outstanding deposit. So that makes it really easy. So we're going to go through and add that up, and I got 1,678. Anyone can confirm my math? A thumbs up? Nice. Okay. So the bank statement that we received said we had 1,528. I added my outstanding deposit. So there we have a subtotal. Now I have to go through and put in my outstanding checks. How many outstanding checks do I have, Hannah? So I'm going to go through and list them in the order that they're listed there. So I'm going to put check number 103 first, and that one is for $70. Then I'm going to put check number 105 for $35. And again, they are listed very easily for us right here. Okay. I need to now total up my outstanding checks. If I total it up, what do I get, Hannah? 105. What do I do with that 105, Hannah?
You add it to 1,678.
We add it?
Subtract it.
We subtract it. So I'm going to take 1,678 and I'm going to subtract 105. And then we get 1,573. And then we do our happy accounting hands. Woo, 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 because our numbers equal. Bless you. You guys don't seem as excited about it as I am. When you have a really big bank account and it comes out the first time, it's like truly very exciting in life. Those are the little things I'm like, numbers equal. Okay, so this is the first step for bank reconciliation. What you will find is when the bank sends you a statement, this is pre-printed on the back of the bank statement form. They always just send it to you. So it will always be on there. So now our next step, once we get our bank reconciliation to prove, is we have to go on our check stub right here, and we have to go through and deal with that $2. Because we deducted $2 because of the service charge there. So I need to go down here on my check stub, and I have a little bit of an issue because notice that the amount is not filled in. It says checkbook balance on check stub number 106 is 1575. So I need to put that right here. Now, do I have to put that deposit on here of $150?
No.
It was already done. It's on a previous check stub. So I don't need to put anything in the amount deposited section, so I'm just going to do 1575, carry it down. But I do need to put in here service charge for $2. And then I'm going to put $2 on the right-hand side. And then I do the math because I'm going to deduct that $2. I'm going to have 1573. And then you will notice that this now equals this. My adjusted bank or my adjusted check stub balance equals what is on my check stub. Here's the third thing we have to do. The bank took money out of our account. We have to journalize it. We can't just have $2 not being accounted for in accounting land because you're like, what's going to happen? It's not there. So we have to go through and go to our journal and record a transaction. So I want you to notice that this is not page 1 of a journal, but it is page 14. So we're going to record this on the 29th. Now, we have to record this service charge. Now, there's two different things. You can either put it under miscellaneous expense, or sometimes you're going to have a service charge. So, but the service charge one that comes up says service fee earned. Does that make sense? Did we earn $2? So which one do you think it's going to fall under? Miscellaneous. Now, does anyone know what my source document number is? Say it again. M44. Now, miscellaneous expense is going to be debited $2. What's my credit? Say it louder, Brandon. Didn't you say it before? Somebody did over here. What's my credit? Yes, it is cash. Even though your source document is not a check. This is like the 2% time when you're going to be affecting cash as a credit when your source document's not a check. Because the bank just took the money out of our account, we didn't have to write them a check, but really they took money out of our account, so cash is going down. So we're going to go ahead and do a cash credit for $2. Let's check that answer. Whoop, whoop. Got it all. Try that on your own. You got a little bit of time here.